facility for assaulting his mother previously.
And I'm not just talking assaulting. I'm talking about knocked her to the floor, grabbed her by the hair of her head, and beat her head into a tile floor so hard that he actually pulled her hair out at the scalp.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, so, and we didn't find any of this out till we get there. And then the mother decides to divulge everything to us while we're sitting there with him wandering around, looking at the tentacles coming out of the wall and stepping over the octopus in his floor. I mean, just like I said, this was the most scared I have ever been.
I bet. Yeah, that would upset even someone that's been in the paranormal field years and years and years.
Yes.
Those cases like that, because your heart goes out for the victim itself, and
Yes.
you're there trying to help them, and then the bad thing is, like Nathan was saying, he refused, any type of cleansing or anything like that. Now, do you guys have references that you give to these people for like counseling and other services?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
But I also want to say not all schizophrenics are like that. If they are properly medicated and treated, they are just like us. Sure. I mean, schizophrenia is just like any other thing, like depression. If it's treated, they're perfectly fine. This was a very special case.
It kind of makes you wonder: is he actually taking the medication like he should, and things like that?
The mother said that she takes him once a week to get injections.
Wow, and I could be a smart ass and say so, like, well, he needs to go more than once a week, but
or have his medication changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's just cases like that. I mean, like I said, we have fun and stuff at what we do, but when you run into a case like that, your heart cries out for the family, and you hate to just kind of walk away, but sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So Frankie, y'all don't have any cases like that, do you?
We had one come up we thought was going to be that way, but it turned out to be okay. But
we had one probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that.
I haven't been around that long, so about a year ago.
But it was going on 2 years. It was in Tuscaloosa, that's what we were told, but come to find out it was in Northport. But there was a small girl, a young girl, let's put it that way, and she had found a book in a closet that her mama said that belonged to her grandmother. Well, this book was bound, and first one thing, another. Anyway, make a long story short, it ended up being a grimoire. The girl opened it up, and things started happening. Anyway, we basically got called off of it because the family was devout Catholic, so they called the Catholic priest in. They tried performing an exorcism, and it didn't work. And they did take the girl to the Vatican, put her in the Vatican, and did a series of exorcisms. Didn't work.
Nothing worked.
Nothing was working. Whenever the child was at the house, they had her strapped, tied down to the bed. And one of the priests that come over asked, what is your name? To get the name out. And this girl looked at him, and she said Gabriel, Raphael, and she was going through and quoting every archangel that there was. So it wasn't normal what I'm saying, possession. Come to find out that it was something that the priest actually could not exercise with
Normal exorcism.
normal exorcism through Christianity. Some things had to be mixed together. And one of the things that it was, which Stan, as you know, one of the things that's real big but is white sage. Mm-hmm. And there were several other different things mixed together. It was put into a bag and it was sent from a Catholic church in the area to the Vatican. They used it. Finally, they got it out, put it into a box called a Solomon's box, and buried it in sea salt. The only thing is their only mistake they made was they did not destroy the box. They wanted to take the box to study what was in it. And long story short, everything kind of, I guess you might could say, kind of like a snowball going somewhere. So they got the girl back. She did come back. They did do that, but they took the grimoire, but they did nothing with the grimoire either. So we haven't heard anything else out of it other than the fact of the girl's still fine, but the two Catholic priests that did the ceremony still keep in touch with her, but to how much and how often, I don't know.
One of our group members is a religious studies major, so we're kind of lucky with that in that respect. He knows a lot about stuff like that, so.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's a real important part of a group.
Right.
You know, that information, and everybody that's asked me, you know, they ask me questions, you know, what's the most important part of an investigation? But information, your research. If you don't get the right information by doing the correct research, then you walk into a situation like that, or like the ones that Nathan and Clara was in, then a lot of times you end up doing more harm than you do good.
Absolutely.
And we actually had a couple of cases the same way, and you know, just recently, and we literally backed out just simply because we didn't want to cause this person harm. And I felt like anything that we done, other than putting them in touch with the right people, as far as counseling, spiritual counseling, and that type of thing, was going to be the wrong thing. So just getting them in touch with these people was the catalyst to get them better. You don't all the time have to run and set up a whole bunch of equipment or go do an investigation. A simple research investigation sometimes is what it takes. And, you know, because I tell my team all the time, I said, you know, we go in, and this is one of the reasons why, and I probably talk a little bit too much about it. It's one of the reasons why when we go into an investigation, if it's just doing poly jail or at old Cahaba, we do not chastise spirits. We do not call them out, because the people that are there have to live there, or the people that are, I mean, when you do that, you piss something off, and you're going to turn around and leave. You're going to leave it there and leave it there for the people to have to deal with a pissed off spirit. And especially, and you know, and we've gone in behind a couple of groups, local groups here, which thank God are not groups anymore. They started chastising these spirits, and it turned out that the spirits were Native American. And you know, these were pretty bad. And we go in and we actually make contact, and we're doing a spirit box session, and it's kind of like these people are saying sentences, you know, and it just so happened I know a little Native American, and I was picking up on things that they were saying, and I could tell they were pissed off, and they were complaining about people coming into their home, as they put it, and calling them out, saying bad things, you know, trying to get them some sort of response.
Yep.
Well, you do that, you're going to get a response a lot of times like you don't want.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Zach Bagans and you're on TV with 100,000 people watching you. You know, and I try not to call anybody out, but you know, we use that as a catalyst of what not to do in the paranormal field. Or at least I try to, you know, I really don't want to.
If you watch that show, cut it off, turn it off, even watch reality TV over that.
No. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's bad.
Kardashian.
Yeah, find you some Kardashian. But
I'd rather watch MASH. I'm sorry.
hey, that's the thing now. But there are good paranormal shows out there, but that is not one to follow.
That's not one of them.
Yeah.
No, and you know, you and I, you guys and myself, we know what it takes for an exorcism. We know what it takes to get rid of a spirit that has just attached itself to you and you took it home. Okay. It's not run out in the parking lot, say a few jumble birds and run back in. Oh, here I am. You know, I'm back like I was before. You know, you go into a situation and oh, I'm possessed. And if you were truly possessed, you wouldn't be on TV.
Yes.
Because the outcome of that is a whole lot different than they portray. And secondly, you're not just run out, like I said, in the parking lot. Somebody says a few words and you're good. That just doesn't happen. That, you know, that happens in the movies and on TVs like that, TV shows like that. So that puts a bad light on people. Especially paranormal teams, paranormal investigators, ones that are trying to make a difference.
Real life.
Yeah, real life, exactly. And
like
real
an
life.
exorcism doesn't last 10 minutes like it does on TV.
Oh, no. They go on for months and months and months, and
Different
sometimes years.
And oh my gosh. And sometimes the people who are possessed deal with the issue for the rest of their life. They deal with
even
like,
after the exorcism.
Easiest to say is like side effects. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how to really explain it.
Well, a lot of, and of course, you know, people that know my background, I've had to deal with that, but on a different side of that. The leftover, the trash, as you call it, is mental illness, physical illness that you just cannot get through with. You still have influences from that. You might be, you might be rescued from that dark entity, but it leaves a residual effect on you because your brain still remembers what you went through. And you know, people tell me all the time, well, these people just don't remember. Yes, they do. Every single possession case that I've ever seen and been close to, and I've been close to a bunch of them, these people could tell you word for word what these entities were telling them to do. All the pictures that they put in their heads and that type of thing, they can tell, they could almost draw it out. And this stuff, like you said, is with them to the day they die.
Absolutely.
You know, and sometimes